this is something that comes up, quite a lot. It's a question that comes up in partnership, not just through webinars, but through the support desk.
Best thing since number. Then might say something like, one would assume that if one like that, eventually you'll get either caught out or you'll just get fed up of pretending to be somebody that you don't even like yourself, or you'll find it's really hard work. I love Michael Cheney's emails. I tried to sort of think, ooh, could I write a few like that? It's 4 or 5 hours a piece. And I thought, that's just not me. So I don't bother. But, there is a lot that you can do and you can include that you're comfortable with. Maybe it's a mix of help and promotion, a bit of personal stuff like I do, a bit of humour, a bit of training. Just find who you are and then be yourself. And that way, you could start building up swipe files from people that you do like and take inspiration from them. Don't copy them so much, but be inspired by them. If you like their style of writing, their stories, the way they do over-the-shoulder reviews, the shortness of their emails or the length of their emails, or if they've got a bit of humour in there or a bit of personal life and you want to see, oh, I wonder, how's Randy's daughter Emily doing? Has he mentioned it again today? Oh, poor kid, or whatever. And, just be inspired, get comfortable, and then, just take it from there, so to speak. And once you find the angles and the way you're happy, you'll find it's a lot easier to send emails quite regularly, and the more regularly you send them, the more money you're going to get. Randy,
just jump in. I mean, I think you learn when you write your emails. You especially when you get to, once you get to say 500 subscribers, that's when things start to happen when you mail. You get more clicks and you're starting to get responses. And by the way, you should always check your email responses. A lot of marketers hide behind no follow emails or things like that. And big companies do that. I don't know why, because when people hit reply, they're not going to get a response. So I always check my replies, and you'll learn over time a certain style will get a certain response. And you'll find a certain style of email will get you more clicks, and then you'll be able to identify the type of emails that get the most clicks, especially during a launch. And I always find, me personally, I always find being open, telling people why I'm promoting a certain product, even going as far as saying, look, I'm going to earn an affiliate commission by you clicking this link if you buy it, but I'm going to reward you with a bonus. Let them inside a little. I find that works really, really well for me. Randy, on the other hand, he'll tell you that he's going, we all know he goes camping every weekend. We know what's going on in his personal life a lot more. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's his style. And you will attract the type of audience that likes your style. And like you said, you will not please everyone. I could send an email offering everyone a $20 bill just for replying, and people would unsubscribe. That's the way it is. So, the content, over time, you'll adapt a certain style. But just what I would say is monitor things like clicks, monitor the responses, and you'll get people telling you that that was a fantastic email, John. I really enjoyed that one. And when you get responses like that, it makes you feel really, really good. But then think, well, why did that email get that sort of response? What was it I did? And then you can, like Randy said, build up a swipe file and adjust your style accordingly.
Yeah. I mean, 2 more little tips there as well. Ooh, just before you go on to frequency, John, 2 more things on the content style. If you're struggling to write, one thing I did in the early days, I don't bother so much these days, I don't need to, but when I first started and I thought, oh, how am I going to write this email to my list? And I thought, I can't, I'm too shy and embarrassed, or I haven't got the experience, whatever. So what I used to do was pretend to myself that I was writing to a friend of mine who wanted to know what I was up to and what I'm doing. So I was writing to my friend, and I would actually physically, in a notepad, I would literally say, hi Jed, I'm writing today to tell you about this bit of software I found that is absolutely amazing for helping me build websites. You know how non-techie I am, and I can't handle this technical stuff and everything always goes wrong. Well, anyway, this program here, look Jed, this is what I did. I clicked this, I clicked that, I did this, I did that, and wait, look at this, you can have a look at a sample I've done here. What do you reckon, Jed? I reckon it could help you as well. And then I would go back, find all the times I mentioned Jed or whoever the friend was that I spoke to, and then just replace that with first name Fixter or whatever the autoresponder tag was. So that way you're just writing to that one friend. It's a bit like when people go public speaking and they say, you know, just pick somebody in the audience and talk to them and ignore the fact there's 10,000 people watching you. It's the same sort of thing. Just pick one friend, write the email to that friend as though you were writing to a friend, and then just change the name and make it first name fix. And that way all your subscribers become your friends. That was one. What was the other thing I was about to mention? Oh yeah, swipe files. Again, people always say, oh, you know, I get a few that come in and go, I've unsubscribed from everybody around here, just you and John and somebody else. And I'm like, when did I ever say do that? I never said unsubscribe from everybody, just unsubscribe from the ones that bore the pants off you. All the rest of your emails, I literally glance down 500 emails every single day in my various accounts. And then what I tend to do is I'll glance at the subject lines, and then I'll click anything and everything that's boring me and go delete. And then I'm left with maybe 20 or 30 emails that I want to open. So I think, why did I want to open that? Was it a good subject line? In which case it's going in my swipe file. When I open the emails, again, I do the same thing. I'll read the email, and if I feel tempted to click something, I don't click, not straight away. I just think, whoa, that made me want to click. So what was it about that that made me want to click? Especially at my time of life and experience on the internet, if something makes me want to click, it's got to be really something that's got me excited. So I'm like, what about that email made me want to click? Was it the wording? Was it the way it was written? And again, save it to a swipe file. You know, and that way you can build up little paragraphs and little bullet lines and little headlines and what have you, so that when you're stuck and you're sat there with writer's block going, oh, I've no clue, then you can go into your swipe file, scan through a few and go, oh, that fits with the content of the subject that I'm doing today. Oh, I'll borrow that and just reword it a little bit. And away you go.
Yeah, good one, Randy. Just something I want to add as well. You might sometimes write about a response you got from a subscriber, something that's happened on in the online world, even references to a latest movie. You know, if you reference stuff that's happening in real life, it will help people sort of resonate with what you're writing about as well. Just thought I'd put that in as well.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know if I'm even allowed. I hope he doesn't do me if he ever hears me, but that's one of the tricks Tony Shepard does, is he has Google Alerts set up for specific topics and what have you, of what's happening in the world around us, and that way he gets an alert on the morning of everything that's in the news, in the media and what have you, and if there's anything there that ties in, he'll use it straight away. So it's very hot and very current.
Good point, good point.
Yeah.
Frequency, I think this is something I stumbled upon maybe 2 years ago now. When I first started online, I probably used to send about maybe two or sometimes 3 emails per week. Now I will usually send at least 2, sometimes 3 emails per day. And some people, when they hear you say that, they get shocked. You know, why would you want to email your subscribers so often? Surely you're going to, you know, they're going to unsubscribe. They're going to be sick of hearing from you. It was funny, when I first started to email more often, my unsubscribe rates dropped, which was one of the biggest surprises I ever got. I think my record is about 12 emails in one day when something really big was going on and it was closing. Do not be afraid to hit the send button, okay? As long as you've got something to say and it's something of value, there's nothing wrong with emailing 2 to 3 times per day. The only way this wouldn't really work is if it was just hype-filled emails promoting the latest product, you know, the latest hype product that's just launched, whatever it may be. But for me, the more I email, the more money I make, and it is as simple as that. And it doesn't seem to have any resemblance on the amount of people who unsubscribe. Yes, people do unsubscribe and say you send me too many emails, but it's a very, very, very small percentage. Those people who are unsubscribing probably aren't going to buy your stuff anyway or buy your recommendations. You had the same revelation, Randy, as well. It was probably about the same time as me. When you were sending more emails, you made more money.
And I mean, the people that say you send too many emails, well, if you sent one a week, you would have got the same unsubscribed message. Why not one a month? Just to give me a recap. Why are you sending me an email every week? You're sending me too many emails. You know, those people are always going to complain. They're always going to unsubscribe. But yeah, I was exactly the same boat as you, John. you know, again, you'll go onto forums and you'll have so many experts that will tell you all about email, that you should be sending no more than 3 or 4 times a week. And even then, they'll also tell you that, well, what you should do is you should send no more than 3 emails a week, but you've got to have a ratio where 2 of them just give them free training and free links and free stuff, and then 1 promo. And then you start again, and you know, honestly, how many times we've heard this sort of stuff. Now, you guys are on this program because you're paying us for our experience and our knowledge. And our knowledge is usually through trial and error, and that's what I always say I love about this program. We let John waste thousands to learn something, and then we just get the benefit of it. And we did the same thing. You know, I used to send 1 email a week, or sometimes it was 1 every 10 days because I tried to have a, you know, a queue of emails promoting regular stuff and what have you. But then I found I was always trying to build up a year's worth of content so I could be lazy. I could never get there because I was always having to go back in because some site had changed, a link had changed, whatever. So it was where I made my money was my 1 a week, where I said this is what's been happening this week and this is the products I've bought, looked at, promoted, or what have you. And then somebody suggested try daily emails. It was like, are you kidding? I get, you know, and at the time, I can still remember the numbers at the time. At the time, I had about 4,000 people on my email list, and I emailed once a week, and every week, without fail, I'd have between 20 and 21 unsubscribes. And I literally made money once a week for maybe 2 days or so, because some people open their emails late, but that's when your email would go out, I'd start making sales, and I'd make sales the next day, and then a couple of days after before they dropped off. So eventually it was like, yeah, to be fair, I don't like only earning money once a week. It would be lovely to do it every day, but I'm not sure about this. You know, people are going to get fed up. They're going to say I'm emailing too much, etc., etc. So, you know, I thought I'll try it for a week. You know, let's throw the rule book away and give it a go for a week. And shock horror, you know, my open rates went up. My click-through rates went up. My sales went up. And guess what happened to the unsubscribes? Exactly the blooming same. I was getting 2 to 3 unsubs a day. Over 7 days, it was like 21 unsubs in the week. That's what I used to get when I mailed once a week. So I was getting the same unsubscribes, but everything else was improving. And I think one of the reasons it was improving, because if you're in somebody's inbox every day, they do get to know you. They have got a relationship with you. You know, whereas if it's once a week, well, a week's a long time on the internet. They've forgotten who the heck you were. Did they even buy anything off you? Why are you spamming them? And all the rest of it. And obviously the biggest benefit from our perspective is instead of making 6, 12 or 20 sales once a week, I'm now making 6, 12 or 20 sales every single day of the week. You know, so from a frequency point of view, it's 7 days a week. From a content point of view, again, threw the rule book away, and it was like, yeah, I understand it's nice when you get some free training, but one of my rules is I have no problem giving you free training. I have no problem even giving you a free download. But I can guarantee you every single email I send out will have a money link. And that's how I phrase it. And a money link, by that I mean something that pays me. So I might say, here, there's a free download for you on this page. When you go to that page, there will be a link on that page. You can get your free download, but there'll also be a money link. You know, at the bottom of my email in my PS, I always have my, here's last week's, you know, hot page with all the money links on it and a couple of freebies. And again, there's money links on there. Whatever I send out, here's some free training for you. You know, it's like, here's a free training, there's a video that shows you how to do it, whatever, but here's a money link if you want to shorten the curve or do it quicker or faster or better or whatever. Always money link in every single email. All that, you know, oh, I'm going to send 3 that are just training and freebies and then a money link. Well, you're just training your subscribers to say, expect lots of free stuff and just ignore the odd ones where there's a link that you have to pay. I don't want subscribers that expect all free stuff. I want subscribers that are ready to put their hand in the wallet and buy recommended products. So yes, I'll give them free training with a view to, there's the free training, now return a favour, go buy this. So always a money link in there as well.
Yeah, and I think you get away with the frequency more as long as you've got the overriding rule of all of what we're talking about today is have your subscribers' interests at heart. Okay, don't look at your subscriber as a cash cow. Look at them as someone who needs help and you know, assistance and provide that for them. And if you do that, you can get away with the frequency. Purpose. What is the purpose of an email? What is, the big question that people ask is, why would I write an email? What does it have to do? And what's the one thing your email has to do? Just the one thing is get that money link clicked. That what Randy's just discussed there.
I was going to say, let's let people answer that one. That would have been fun. Because I'm sure lots of people would have said, oh, to make a sale. And it's the wrong answer. So I'm going to pretend somebody said, oh, look, it's to make a sale. No, it's not. A sales page makes a sale. A sales video makes a sale. An email is there. The purpose of the email is to get a click, to engage your reader and get a click.
Yeah. They want to find out, leave them wanting to find out more, whether it may be a bonus or a promotion or something. Obviously, you want to try and build up the suspense, so to speak, but the purpose of that email is to get them to click the link, to go to whatever page you're sending them to, and then it's up to the page they've gone to then take over and the copy to make a sale.
So you might be selling a product, you might be selling the idea of grabbing a freebie, you might be selling the idea of taking some form of action, liking a blog post, sharing a link, commenting on a blog, filling in a survey. It might be to reply to the email with a question or an answer or what have you. But all of those things is what we're selling the idea of, is we're selling the idea of taking action by clicking a link or doing something, replying. You're selling the idea of taking action. Usually that action would involve in clicking a link. So and that's, you're selling the click. You're not selling the product, you're selling the click this and have a look at the product sales page. That will sell you the product. And so many people go along there where they try to sell in their email, and it's like, well, what was the point in spending, $5,000-$6,000 on an amazing sales page, if you're not even going to bother letting your people look at it? And again, I've had things like that happen where people have promoted my products and said, oh, my guys just don't like it, and I'm like, you haven't sold the click, you've tried to sell the product. So training your readers.
Yeah, it leads in lovely, this, doesn't it? I mean, your email style will sort of determine what you do, and my readers know they're going to get 2 to 3 emails a day because I email them 2 to 3 times a day every single day. My readers know that a lot of the time I'm going to give them an amazing bonus. A lot of the time I'm going to try and secure them a discount. A lot of the time I let them know what's going on in the internet marketing world, whatever it may be. I let them into my life a little. I mean, like this, I keep going back to referencing Randy about his life and how he does it, but Randy's readers are trained to find out what's happening in Randy's world, so to speak, because what's going on. Is he going camping this weekend? What's he doing? Whatever. You find over time, your readers will expect a certain amount of. They will expect a certain amount from you. Now, if I didn't email my subscribers for 3 or 4 days, I know for a fact I get people emailing me and saying, John, are you okay? Is everything all right? Well, where's your emails? That's because I trained my subscribers to expect a lot of emails from me.
The more you train them, the more they get used to and look forward to and all the rest of it. And again, I mean, my readers, sometimes people will say, oh, can you promote this, Randy? Can you fit it in? I'm like, well, I'm already committed, but I'll still fit it in because my readers are trained to know that I don't just focus on one thing. And I do that by saying to them, hey, this is for all you guys that want to, this is Instant Azon. It's a product by some friends of mine. And if you want to, Azonify your blog and do Instant Azon adverts on your blog and whatever, this piece of software is great. But hey, for you guys that haven't got blogs, that you might be wanting some more traffic, have you seen Dave's Simple Stupid Crazy Traffic thingy yet? Blah, 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 blah. Because, again, they've been trained to know that I'm talking to people, and not all people are all interested in blogs. Not all people are all interested in graphics or interested in traffic or whatever. So sometimes I vary things up and have a couple of products in an email, and they're trained to expect that I might randomly promote 1 or 2 or even 3 products. They're even trained to know that my emails will always have a blue signature at the bottom. And that's something that I know they were trained, because one time an old email account years ago was hacked and somebody had tried to send out a promotion to my list. And I got emails back saying, I mean, obviously, as soon as I spotted it, I wrote an email saying, guys, I was hacked, I've changed my password, it's not an issue now, but ignore that last email. And the amount of replies, thought it wasn't from you, Randy, it didn't have your usual blue signature in it. So just a simple thing like that, they've been trained to expect that I always sign off with a blue signature. I do that, by the way, because blue's a trusting colour, and Ted Nichols once did some market research, and more people trusted a blue signature than a black one. So I always highlight and change the colour of my signature, you know, my sign off. If you notice, if you've got the HTML version of my email, it's always Randy and Si blue. But
yeah, my emails all end until next time. That's every single email I write ends with that. I mean, at the end of the day, you can get your subscribers to do certain things by what you do with your emails. One thing you do different to me, Randy, I'll let you know. I want to let you guys know we do things I do things quite differently to Randy when it comes to the way I do email. I don't promote 2 products in one link. It's very, very rare that happens. Randy does it nearly all the time. Works for him, works for me. So, you know, you might find promoting 1 product works better. You might find promoting 2 products or even 3 products in an email works better. You'll find your style, and you'll obviously train your subscribers to expect certain things. So, you know, for me,
you know, the whole of what we're saying today all ties in together when we said earlier about finding your voice and your style and what you're comfortable with. Yeah. You know, and John's never felt comfortable on doing 2 links. So he's comfortable with 1 link. His subscribers expect 1 link. He focuses purely on that and sends a lot of traffic to that link. My traffic gets split because some people will click 1 link, some will click the other, some will click both. You know, but it's what they're used to getting from me. You know, and it's my style that I'm comfortable with. So, you know, you find your style and train your readers to expect your style to be the way you are. And then,
yeah, I actually,
people will love you or hate you. The lovers will stay with you for years to come.
Sorry, Randy, there's a couple of times I have sent 2 or 3 links, and I've sent an email, and I've made a massive thing about it. Because I said, look, I know this is not something I do often, but there's 2 launches ending today, you simply have to check them both, etc. So yeah, it's just the way we do
But
things.
again, you know, you built your relationship with them, and that way when you say, this isn't something I do often, they go, oh, I better pay attention, you know, because you've built that relationship with them. You know, and that's, again, this is why I mention my family, my, you know, holiday activities, my, you know, my summer, going camping every weekend, and all these type of things, is because it's all part of them getting to know me, and therefore they know me on a personal level. And a lot of these people, you know, I get emails every single day, and a lot of these people feel that they do know me on a personal level, and they would never leave my list because of it. Some people could give 2 monkeys, but the ones that do feel as though they've got to know me, I've had people on my list literally for 10 years, and they still buy. And every other market is going to tell you, oh, you've got 3 months to make a sale, and then they've gone, they've unsubscribed and all the rest of it. I'd say, well, yeah, that happens on average, and we can always talk industry averages, but what we're trying to do is be just that little bit above average. And if we can be that little bit above average on everything, then our incomes are that bit above average as well. And part of that is building those relationships with your subscribers, and whichever way you do it. We're not saying you have to share your personal life. It could be that you've built your relationship on always providing a reason why something's a good product, always providing an added training module of your own. It could be, you know, lots of reasons, but you'll build that relationship with people, and then they want to stay on your list because they want to know, is John going to give us a bonus chapter here that's going to show us how to use this product we're buying? Is Randy going to tell us about his camping this weekend? Where's he gone? What's he done? Has he bought a new camper van? You know, I'm into camper vans. I want to know about it. Or I can't stand camper vans. Why does this guy keep talking about them? You know, whatever the case may be, and people interact. And funnily enough, this also relates to something else as a trend that's sort of been happening, and 1 or 2 people are now taking notice. And again, another big marketing friend of mine I was talking to the other day, and when we were talking about frequency earlier, I messaged a friend of mine on the internet, Tony again, by the way, John, but messaged him the other day, and I just wanted free access to his product, I think. So it was like, oh, Tony, give us free access to your product. I want to look at it. And then he asked about Emily, and I asked about his family and what have you. And then I happened to mention about a trip I had down to Tunbridge Wells and the reasons for it. And then next thing you know, he's like, can I call you? So when people go on about, oh, how many emails a day? Oh, I don't want all these emails a day. You know, I started just asking for a freebie, and then the guy's saying, can I call you and talk to you? So, you know, when you've got relationships with people, they don't mind you emailing every day. They want to hear from you, even to the point of like, can I give you a call and physically talk to you? So, you know, bear that in mind as well. But one of the things that he was saying was he sacked all his outsourcing staff that used to do his support. And he says, and the reason for it is he's realised now that so many people are trying to automate everything and treating everybody like robots. And this comes back to what I said right at the start about you're dealing with people here. You're in the people business by way of internet marketing. And when you're dealing with people, none of us like to be treated like robots. So when every other marketer is saying, automate, 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 I don't do anything, I spend all day on the golf course, and I then go on the beach and I sit with my laptop on the beach, I just click send, and then everything else is automated. Well, when somebody replies to your support and says, hey John, I've just paid you $10,000 for some private coaching, can you tell me what I need to do here? And a support person goes, oh well, John would probably say do this, that, the other. It'd be like, who are you? Oh, I'm just his $5, you know, an hour support staff. I'm like, I'll pay 10 grand to talk to John, not some blooming skivvy who's on $5 minimum wage and doesn't know the first thing about internet marketing. And again, it reminds me of the boiler room sales in the States that got such a bad rep, where people would say, how much have you got on your credit card? Well, I've got 6 grand. Oh, that's what our coaching is. All right, and do I get coached by the man himself? Well, no, one of the team will read from a script. But don't ask any questions because we don't actually know what we're doing and how to do it. You know, whereas obviously when you guys were mailing to support, and all of you will know, if you mail in and go, I've got a techie problem, here's my sales page, and then I've got this techie problem, you know that I will answer that ticket and go, on your sales page, this, that, do this, do that, move this, move that, change these words, here's a better headline for you, here's this, here's that, here's the other. Now, about the techie problem, I'm passing this ticket over to John O'Simon, because I can't answer it. I'm not even going to try, you know, and we stick to the skills and the strengths we've got. Whereas if you're sat there paying a high ticket somewhere and you ask, and some $5 an hour support worker that maybe doesn't even speak your language answers you, you're going to feel a bit let down. And this guy noticed that, and he's got rid of all his support, and he says now he answers all his own emails and all his own support tickets, and as a result he's found that people are spending more money with him and asking him about his higher ticket stuff. So again,
yeah,
building relationships, they've got to know him, and they realise that it is him that's talking to them, and therefore the building of the relationship also builds the trust, which comes back to something that we always quote, if you know, like and trust, then you're happy to buy.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the time I'll get a response from someone. Someone will, because if you reply to my email, it goes in my inbox, and then I respond. And some people are shocked that I'm responding, but the amount of times I've had an inquiry or just a simple response turn into a sale, you would not believe. So that's, you know, all of these people who don't look at the replies or don't check the replies are just missing out on so many sales. It's unbelievable. Just one quick one here as well. I remember when it was a couple of years ago, I went to see Prince. I remember seeing in one of my emails I was going to see Prince. I was going to Manchester to see him live in concert. The amount of replies I got from people saying, oh, I saw Prince in Paris, I saw Prince in New York, whatever. He's brilliant, isn't he, etc., etc. It was unbelievable. So just little things like that, you know, what you're doing in your life can build up those relationships. I mean, most of my subscribers know, unfortunately, I'm a Sunderland fan. You know, I'll have people email me saying, yeah, another bad result, etc., etc. All of that's part of the relationship building. Right, this one here, getting emails opened. I think, this is my personal opinion, and I think the biggest thing that will get your email opened, and I don't know, I don't want to do a little, you know, ask people what they think it is, but I personally think it's your name. Yes, your subject line counts, and what you see in your subject counts, but at the end of the day, it's who the email is coming from that gets it open. If you think hard, when you go through your inbox, yes, you might see a subject line that gets your attention, but 9 times out of 10, it's to the left of the subject line. it's the person sending the email. And that's all goes back to what we talked about the building relationships, training your readers, you know, the frequency, etc., etc. I don't know what you think about that, Randy, but that's my personal opinion. Is that
it's more one of the things we always do is in the from field, it always says Randy and Si bracket Media Kettle close bracket, so they know exactly it's Media. If they're into the software and they just remember the company name because of the software or what have you, they see Media Kettle. Once they've got to know us, they know it's Randy and Si, and then they literally see Randy and Si Media Kettle in the subject line, and therefore they'll open the email. And yeah, you know, if you've got a nice, in the from field, if you've got a good subject line as well, great, but that from field to me is a big one, you know, and it always has Randy and Si Media Kettle.
Yeah. One thing, just little things here, mistakes people make. Using copy swipe emails using the same subject line as that's been, you know, suggested. When there's a big launch going on, the product creator will give you subjects to use, they'll give you emails to use. Don't use the same subject lines. I mean, if you're going to use any swipes, make sure you rewrite them. Try and not be like everyone else, okay? And like I said, as long as you're giving value to your subscribers, they see your name. Oh yeah, there's another email from John about this product launch. Yeah, I think it's got a bonus, brilliant. I'm going to check it out, etc. If it's from the guy who just sends promo after promo after promo every day, copy paste, you know they're not going to get opened. Okay.
Yeah. And then other things, obviously, after that, after your from field is your subject line. On your subject line, the usual things you've got to think of things like, from a subscriber's perspective, the old quote WIIFM, what's in it for me? You know, so is it going to give them a hint of what's in it for them? Is it going to arouse curiosity? A curiosity type headline, a teaser, XYZ leads to ... You know, questions. You can ask questions on subject lines and what have you. Another one that we find always works well is if we're doing a crush campaign and we've sent multiple emails in a day, Simon will usually end with his last email saying, I'm sorry, ... and you're like, and everybody's always curious, what's he sorry about? And then when you open the email, it says, I'm really sorry, I'm going to bed now and there's only an hour left on this offer. I'm sorry if you open the email after that, you'll have missed out because we know the price is going up. But I felt I couldn't really live with myself if I didn't mention it one last time for anybody who wants a bargain. You've got to click this link within the next hour. You know, and just that simple I'm sorry or apologies gets a lot of opens, you know, because people always want to know what you're sorry about. Bad news, again, why, I don't know why, we're such a miserable bunch, the human race. If you went, good news, 10,000 planes landed safely today, nobody would even open the email. You go, bad news, did you see what happened to this plane? It's 1 out of 10,000 landed safely, 1 might have had a flat tire on the runway and it caused somebody to spill their coffee on the lap and now they're suing the airplane company. But everybody wants to read that. Yeah, so, but think about your subject line after you're from.
Yeah,
and that's
cool point.
the only things you can do to get them opened is your from and your subject.
I tend to ask questions as well in the subject lines as well. Just anything what I try not to reveal everything in the subject line. You have to open the email to find out more. You know, if you invoke curiosity, make people think, what's he talking about? What does he mean? And they've got to open the email to find out. Again, I think yes, the spam filter's in place. Yes, there's filters out there, and your messages can end up in spam. But at the end of the day, if you're putting good stuff out there, I mean, most of the time you're going to end up in spam is if people actually click on that spam button. You know, in Gmail you can report spam. People do that even though they've requested emails from you. So if you're pitch, you know, hype, your emails are not going to make it to people's inboxes because it's going to be, you know, it's going to get clicked. The spam button's going to get clicked. If you're using the same subject lines as other people, same emails, all these little things can add up to your email ending up in the spam. Now, there's no way to 100% guarantee to get to people's inbox. Yes, you can ask people to whitelist, and that will have a big effect. You can ask them to whitelist your email, but very few people do that, I've found. It goes back to who you are, what you do, the value you give, and your name in that subject.
Well, again, a very clever way of getting to whitelist, John, is ask them to reply.
Yeah.
You know, if you say, oh, I was thinking of doing this, please reply and let me know. And if they reply to you, it's automatically, the ISP automatically goes, oh, you must have a relationship with this because he's wrote out and he's wrote back. You know, so that's one way of getting your emails delivered. The most important thing to get your emails delivered is use professional email software or a professional, you know, third-party email provider. Don't skimp on it. It's one of the most important, as we've said, aspects of your business. Your list is the most important. And I do recall when I first started out, I tried using a free autoresponder, and it had like limits, and then it had adverts in the email, so you know my readers were clicking on somebody else's links, making them money and what have you. And then eventually, when I tried to export them to move over to Aweber or what have you, I wasn't allowed to export them, and you know there's so many issues and problems. And then you see all these people selling all these plugins, and they go, put this plugin on, and you can sack your email, and you can just send it from your own domain. And it's like, do these people really know what they're talking about? I'm not techie, but I'm techie enough to know that if you try sending thousands of emails from a shared hosting account, then you know your internet service provider is just going to, your hosting people are just going to say, oh, get your site off our domain, you're banned. You know, because they don't want you sending emails out from your hosting account unless you've got, you know, professional autoresponder installed and you're using a top level, you know, dedicated server, and then you've got a Simon there that can go through and make sure that you've got your DKIM settings and your ISPs, your feedback loops, your SPF settings, and all the other techie BS that I don't understand. But all of that has to be in place, and nobody mentions that when they're saying, just plug this in and then press send. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. And I did have an autoresponder company once upon a time, which is why I know some of those technical terms. If you didn't have a feedback loop in, then half the ISPs wouldn't deliver your email because they can't send you feedback if somebody says spam, you know, and oh, just so complicated. So don't try and cheapskate yourself on that. Don't try and use your Gmail and send out, you know, a CC with 50 other people's email addresses in it. Surefire way of getting your bar blacklisted and banned everywhere. Just get a good quality autoresponder, and then avoid the silly spam trigger words. Don't sit there. I mean, even when I tell me funnies, I won't mention Viagra. I'll limit it. You know, if there's a joke about Viagra, I'll try and use some other analogy so that people know that's what I meant, but I don't want to put that word in the email because I know for a fact it'll go in the spam filter. You know, so avoid, and you can always do a quick Google search, you know, spam filter words. They'll give you too many and you'll be frightened to death of writing anything, so just ignore it, but take out anything that's adult content related or that's selling any sort of a blue pills or dating or that type of thing. Avoid those words.
Yeah, I tend to not be worried about the words I'm using. I don't think I'll ever need the need to use that word in an email, but yeah, I just write, and I think again it boils down to what you're giving your subscribers and customers. But yeah, use Aweber, use GetResponse, a reputable autoresponder, and you should be fine. I mean, you know, yes, some emails are going to go in the spam, but as long as you just give them value overall, you should be fine. I think we've sort of covered this, Randy. Do you think different styles of email writing? You know, I'm completely different to Randy, and Michael Cheney's different to me, and Randy, and you know, you find your own style.
Yeah, and that's the key there. Find your style. You know, you can pinch a bit here and a bit there, but find your style. Reminds me of a quote. I think, oh, what's his name again? No, I had it in my head a second ago. There's a famous quote though. Be yourself. Everybody else is already taken.
Yeah, I think this is sort of, I want to tie in with the next one as well. Finding your voice. It's much the same, isn't it?
Yeah, you know. So as much as you can take inspiration from other people. And you might go, yeah, I quite like Randy's way of adding a bit of personal, but I like John's this, that, and the other. If you're comfortable, mix them up and do both. But if you're not comfortable, the point is don't try and fake it, and the old fake it till you make it. No, don't do that. Don't fake it till you make it. Try and find your voice, because if you're faking it, and like I said, if I try and be Michael Cheney, it takes me 4 hours plus to write one of his type of emails, and I don't want all that hard work, quite frankly, especially if I'm going to be sending 3 or 4 emails a day. I'm back to working 16 hours a day. Who wants that? So don't try and be somebody else, because you'll find it hard to keep it up, and eventually you'll get caught out. And it always does happen, you know, and then once you've been caught out, you've made a laughing stock, everybody unsubscribes, you've lost everything. So if you're a quiet and shy person, tell people, look, I'm quiet and shy, so, you know, here's the facts and the figures about what I'm promoting, and it's worked for me. And then all the quiet, shy people in the world will be diving to get onto your list going, well, I'm the same. So if you're saying that's worked for you, I'll click your links and I'll have a go. So, you know, be yourself, and again, the people that then relate to you will stay on your list and they'll stay loyal for years to come.
This one's going to be interesting because I do only plain text. You don't, Ryan, do you?
I do both. I do both. I do HTML and plain text. The reason I do both is because HTML is the only one that can track the opens. You can't track an open on a text email. So when everybody says, oh, my open rate's whatever, they don't know that for sure, because you don't know how many people have opened it in text format, and you know it's not sent the little ping back to say it's been opened. You can only do that in a HTML email. So if you think you've got a 7% open rate, chances are it could be 10, 11, 12% open rate. So from that perspective, I don't suppose it matters. But the other important thing about formatting is how many characters across the screen are you going, you know, because I mean, if you had on one of those screens, if your writing started at the far left, John, and went to the far right, and then down the line back to the far left and the far right and the far left, the far right, and it was 20 lines long, your eyes would literally get lost between the lines and you wouldn't be able to read. And that's why you'll see most marketers, especially the professionals, will usually have no more than 60 characters across a page and no more than 5 lines in a paragraph. And that's so that your eye can stay exactly where it's reading and scan across, read those 50 to 60 characters, down a line, down a line, down a line, gap, new paragraph, down a line, down a line, down a line, gap, new paragraph. And as I say, the reason for that is so your eye doesn't drift off and you get lost on which line you're on, and then you start rereading it and then you get fed up and you click delete. A cheap way for you to do that is, I used to, I don't do it these days, I just guess it, but I used to open the text notepad and go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, right across the top until I'd got 60 characters, and then I would write my email underneath and make sure that I never went beyond wherever those numbers stopped at the top. If I got to the end, I'd hit new line, new line, new line, and then as soon as I got 4 or 5 lines, I'd skip a line and start a new paragraph. So it's not writing a novel. You don't have to be, you know, correcting that, well, that shouldn't be a new paragraph, it should just be a new sentence. It's like, no, no, no. In an email, it needs to be a new paragraph with a line break. So
yeah, we actually created software to do this job. I'll put the link in chat, guys. For anyone listening, it's word-wrap.net/go. I use that to write every single email I write. You set the formatting, you click wrap, and it does it for you. The most important reason why you need to make sure you don't go over a certain amount, and we recommend no more than 42 characters, so you're saying 60, Randy, is because on an iPhone, Gmail, if you haven't wrapped your text, it looks horrible. You'll get like a lot of text on one line and one word on the next line, and a lot of text and one word, because the formatting's all wrong. So what you need to do is check your email on your cell phone to make sure it looks okay on there as well, because I was doing it for a couple of years. I was sending out emails that were okay on a computer, on Gmail, but on a cell phone they look terrible. That's why we came up with this software. So you can use that, you can use it as it is, word-wrap.net/go. You can use that to write your emails. I use it every single day.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right, it's not just the computer, it's if you're reading it on your phone.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. It's because a lot of people read emails on phones.
phones, tablets, and all sorts. Yeah. And adapting copy and paste. Again, we touched on this earlier, John, but you know, never just use copy and paste. Can you put it in chat for the email on phone? Okay, what? Put the link in
link.
chat.
Did everyone get that link, guys? Everyone should have got that link. Hopefully you did. Yes, if that's what you mean, Susan. Yeah. I think that, yeah, I don't know, Randy. Anyway,
The link for some reason.
You must adapt copy paste. That's what you're saying, Randy. Yeah. Don't just use it as. Don't steal the content. Don't just copy, put your link in, paste, send. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, because as we said at the start when we're talking about relationships, about standing out, about not being numbers, if people see your emails exactly the same as the other 6 people have just had an email from promoting XYZ product, then what makes you different? Why do they need to be on your list? You know, so always adapt it. And, you know, if you've bought the product, add your own bits in there. If you've just reviewed the sales page, add your own bits in there. Or relate it to a lesson from life if you're one of these people that notices things in life. You know, and I do that a lot, and I know it's probably a skill. I take it for granted because I've had a lot of life experience because I'm an old so-and-so. But things like, you know, if I see a butcher giving away free bones outside their shop, it always makes me smile because I've used that in an email before, where I've said, hey, I noticed the butcher was giving away bones, and people on the street were like, why is he doing that? And I said, you daft buggers, do you not know why? Because he doesn't need those bones, so he's giving them away for free, and everybody that's got a dog is coming along going, oh, free bone for my dog. And they love their dogs, and their dog loves the bone. And because of that, the law of reciprocation comes in. If you've ever read Cialdini, the law of reciprocation says if he's given you something for nothing and you've appreciated it, you feel a debt of honour to go into that butcher's shop now and buy that bone and buy your Sunday joint or whatever it might be because he gave your dog a free bone. So, you know, if you've got little life experiences, you're out walking your dog and you see something going on and you think, oh, that relates to something I read on internet marketing, write it down on a little notepad and use it in your email, and that way you can adapt and copy and paste and stuff. You know, I mentioned, I think in today's email, I said, you know, Emily's so bored of being off school now with this thing on her neck that she had surgery on and what have you. She's actually saying, can you get school to send me some homework? She wants to be learning. She's bored of playing the computer games. She wants to be learning. You know, and then I said, speaking of learning, have you clicked on this page yet and looked at the page where I actually detail the 7 steps I'm talking about on the sales page? You can learn just by looking at the sales page. You don't have to buy the product. But if you've got $7, I highly recommend you do. So I tied it in, Emily wanting to learn to, oh, and by the way, you can learn for free here. You know, so just think about all the little things that are happening around you. Notice things when you're out shopping. Notice if somebody gives great service and a big smile, are they getting more sales than somebody else in the shop that's sat there slumped and looking miserable? How does that relate to online marketing? How does it relate to what you're doing, what your sites, etc.? You know, and again, even, I don't know, you know, how to phrase this. When we were in sales, if people were selling on the telephone, we used to say to them, smile while you're doing your pitch. And they'd go, what do you mean smile? What's the difference? And it's like, we don't know why or how, but the customer knows on the other end of that phone if you're smiling or not. And if you're not smiling and you're being a miserable grumpy face, they're not going to buy from you as much as they buy from somebody who's saying the same red script, but they're smiling while they say it. And it's just a fact. We don't know why. So again, in your emails, you know, make sure you're in a happy, smiley mood unless you're on a rant. If you're doing a rant email, then write it while you're feeling mad and write it as a rant, because people will relate and they'll see in the email, they will see your bad temper, they will see your smile, they'll see your enthusiasm in the email. The old reading between the lines, you know, they'll read between the lines and see that you were smiling or enthusiastic or you were ranting and moaning or whatever it might be, in the same way that, and I hope you can relate by referencing it to the telephone thing, have you ever been on the phone and, you know, you've just felt that that person on the other end of the phone was smiling? You can't see them, no, unless it's obviously modern technology and what have you, but in the old days, you know, you used to ring up and canvass people and call people and sell them the phones and what have you, and we always taught people, smile while you're on the phone. And my team all smiled and we made more sales than the other teams that didn't smile. Script was the same. Same sort
It's
of
funny,
thing.
when I do a run, I always get more opens as well. It's, yeah, when you do something that's sort of a little bit different, you can always get a response as well. But so you're saying, Randy, when we write our emails, we need to be smiling, yeah?
Yeah, and be enthusiastic about the product or whatever.
I agree with that. Yeah, you definitely have to be enthusiastic and excited with that, 100%. I might try writing my next email with a big grin on my face and see if it goes across.
Yeah. See if you get more opens and more clicks. You know, it's one of those magical things in the universe that we can't explain everything. We don't need to explain. It's, in a sense, it's like, here's an easy analogy for you. How many of you are all electricians qualified to know exactly how electricity travels down a wire? You know, because I remember being in college and they explained to me that electricity goes backwards. And I'm like, I can't possibly start at the light bulb and go back to the switch. And it's like, no, this is how electricity works, but don't you worry about it. And it's like, I don't get it. But Lara's saying to you, well, don't tell anybody. Sorry, Lara. But yeah, if you're an electrician, you will know what happens when we hit that light switch and what makes that light bulb work. For the rest of us, who cares? All we need to know is we push that little switch on the wall, the room's lit up. We push it the other way, it's dark again. That's all we need to know. I don't even know how they fit the whole bloody orchestra in the back of the TV screen. But I don't need to. I just know if I want to watch them, I put that channel on, there's a whole orchestra there inside my telly playing at me. I don't know how it works. I have a general, you know, people have said, oh, well, what happened to the little lights, and they flash a little light and there's all these little dots on your screen and each dot represents a word. Go away. All I need to know is push that button, that works. It's the same thing with your emails and everything else. When we're telling you these things, if you don't fully understand, just trust us until you see the results. When you see the results and you go, I do this because John and Ronnie said so, and it works, and somebody goes, can you explain why it works? Say, no, I don't care. As long as it works.
We've touched on this as well, haven't we? Building the swipe files. I mean, I try and build certain types of emails. For example, I'll have crush campaign emails. I'll have emails that's directed to maybe pushing something that's traffic related. I'll have emails that's related to something where there's a bonus on offer. And you'll have different styles of emails, different emotions that's getting evoked, things like that. You build up your own sort of swipe files that you can go back to and you can simply rewrite. So,
well, I say, John, with me, it's just a case of I look and think, do I want to click and open that? If I do, that's in me subject line swipe. If I'm reading an email and I think, do I want to click that link? Doesn't matter what the product is. If I felt like I wanted to click it, then I'll look at the words above and around it to see, well, what in there made me think I want to click? Because that phrase could be then slightly changed to apply to a different product. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a traffic product. I might see a line above a traffic link, but I'll think, oh, I could actually use that to pitch, you know, a Facebook link or whatever it might be. So
what
anything
I do
that
as
makes
well,
me want to click goes into my swipe.
if I have a successful campaign, like a really good campaign where I promote something and it goes above and beyond what I expected, I'll put those emails away. And yes, a lot's got to do with the product. Obviously, it's got to do with conversions, things like that. But sometimes you'll have what you feel is a fantastic campaign. You know, you'll put maybe extra work in. You'll send extra emails. You know, sometimes I'm sending 30 to 40 emails over a 5 to 7 day period. If I've had major results, those emails are getting put into a folder. And then next time I can simply just vary it, just change it slightly. Apply it to a different product like Randy's just said, but if you find a formula that you know works, don't change it. Obviously you can't send the exact same emails out because people will see through that, but you know, if you've got a formula where you might send, I don't know, 3 emails on day 1, you might send 2 emails on day 2, then you might spend the next 2 or 3 days educating people, giving them extra information about the product, adding more bonuses, and then you come to the close near the weekend and you think, right, I'm going to send 4 emails on Saturday and it's 5 emails, 6 emails on Sunday. On the Sunday I'm going to be opening up front and say, look, I'm in second place on the leaderboard, I'm going for first, if you get this I'm going to give you even more bonuses, etc. And that really, really works. Then you think, right, I've got a formula down that I know I can apply to future launches. Now, yes, you might not be able to do that with every single launch that comes up, When there's a big launch going on that you know you can do really, really well, you know what, talking about you can earn 10, 20, $30,000 as an affiliate, then you're going to go back to the formula that you knew worked in the swipe files and then just rewrite everything and apply it again. We've got 3 more slides, Randy. We've gone over, but it's okay. We've got 3 more slides. Right, one-offs or follow-ups. I do both. I just wanted to let you guys know I do both. It's a strange one, this, because some people will say, John, why would you send a broadcast to a subscriber and a follow-up email to a subscriber? Sometimes I do that, and it does happen. Sometimes one of my subscribers will get the broadcast for whatever's going on right now, and they might get the follow-up email because they're in a sequence. And don't ask me why, but it just works for me, okay? You would think the subscriber would maybe either realize what's going on, or they get paid off because you're emailing about 2 different things, but it works for me. Certain people, certain customers, if they buy, for example, if a customer buys a product through JVZoo and it's a bonus offered, they get put on a sequence where I'm offering them more bonuses. It's as simple as that. Anything related. So for me, some of my subscribers get both. Most of the time it is one-offs, but I have sequences in place. Me and Randy are actually working on a follow-up sequence right now for one of my automated webinars. We're going to put them through a 100 email sequence. They will only get those emails because they won't get promotions from us. So it really depends on what you're doing, what you want to achieve. So in some situations, I'm sending just one-off emails. Some situations, I'm sending just follow-ups. Some situations, they get both. I don't know if you can add to that, Randy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing with one product in terms of, for you guys, you've just had your launch, you've got a list and you're promoting a product, be it mine, John's, anybody's, what have you. I thought on that you meant, do you send one email for John's product today and then you go, oh, I only got 2 sales for that. I'll send for Dave's product tomorrow. Oh, I only got 1 sale for that. I'll send for Randy's on Wednesday. Oh, I only got 1 sale for that as well. I'll send for Fred's on Friday. And that's where I would always say, don't just send one email. You know, you need to be following up for at least 2 or 3 days. You know, so when you send and you say, I'm promoting John's product today, then tomorrow you should be promoting John's product, and the day after you should be promoting John's product at the very least. And you can keep going all week. And in terms of where do you get the best results, well, we've seen so many launches where affiliates have said, yeah, we've got you back, and they send one email, and they make a few sales, and then they're gone. They're on to something else tomorrow. And they're on to the next thing since sliced bread, and the next best thing since sliced bread, and the next best thing since sliced bread. And that, surprisingly, does upset your subscribers, because they're like, he's just promoting anything and everything daily to make money from me. Whereas if you say, hey, I promoted John's product yesterday and a few of you bought it, but a lot of you didn't, and I couldn't understand why. Because look, I already mentioned this, but there's also this, and this you get. And then the next day it might be, did you even look at the page? Because have you seen the testimonials that say this, and this? And then the next day it might be, hey, I've just noticed he's putting the price up in 2 days' time, so don't hang about if you want this because it's got these benefits. And then the next day it's like, oh my goodness, tomorrow's the day the price goes up. You've only got today to get these benefits and get this product, and it gives you this, and this. And then the last day it's like, hey, it's your last chance today. I won't be mentioning it again after today, but you da-da-da-da-da. And how many times, John, how many times we start the week and we might say, just for an average, you know, I might get 6 sales on day 1, and then I get 2 on day 2, and I get 3 on day 3, and I get 1 on day 4. And then on day 5, I'm lucky if I get another 1, 2. And then on day 6, I've got 23 sales coming. And on the last day, I've got 30 odd sales coming. I've done just about as much on the last day as I've done all the previous week. But suddenly I'm on a leaderboard, and I get prize money as well as all those commissions. Whereas if I'd have just jumped onto the next thing, I would have had the initial 6 sales and been done. No prize money, no recognition, no extra commissions, and then I'm jumping on to something else that might get 1 or 2 sales. So follow up when you're doing a promotion, follow up at least 2 follow-up emails after the first promotion. So at least 3 emails per promotion is what I thought you meant by that, 1 or so follow-ups.
Well, that's good, because then you've got both, you know, I read it different to you, Randy, so you've got 2 bits of value there, guys. But yeah, I do want to mention following up. I love it when the big guys send 1 or 2 emails and move on to something else, because that just gives me an opportunity to overtake them on a leaderboard. This week alone, I've won 2 high-profile JV competitions. One was a 2-week promo, and Patrick Chan's CB Passive Income won that, and the other one was Ben Martin's Castaway Commissions won that, because they were both 5-day campaigns. Didn't mail for anything else during that campaign, followed up, sent multiple emails, everything we've talked about basically, built the relationship, offered the bonuses, etc., etc., etc. And just the most important thing is to follow up. Even if you send an email and you don't make 1 sale, I guarantee when you follow up, you're going to make more. Okay, so if you make 5 sales on day 1, I guarantee follow up on the end of day 1, you'll make another 5 or another 10. It's just the way it works. Don't promote the latest offer of the day every day. Let the other marketers move on. Let them move on. You know, there's so many times I've seen a big, and I'm talking big marketers go straight at the top of a leaderboard. I might be in 9th, 10th position, but I know I'm going to catch that marketer because they've moved on. And I'm going to stick to what I'm doing, and I'm going to slowly but surely climb that leaderboard and get in the top, you know, usually win the competition. And like Randy says, it's not just about the commissions, it's about the prize money and all the things that go with it. So yeah. So you've got the best of both worlds here. We've covered one-offs and follow-ups in 2 different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we've got 2 more slides, Randy. So this one...
We've done subject lines already, so you could probably skip that. We've mentioned scarcity, curiosity, benefit-driven, number-driven, what's in it for me, ask questions, apologise, bad news, good news. The main thing is obviously think about your subject line. Would you want to open it to read more? Yeah. If the subject line says, hello, I'm promoting something today, you think, yeah, I wouldn't really want to promote that. Click that to open it to read it. But if it says, it's your last chance of what? I'll open it. Or, hey, did you know that XYZ can lead to ABC? What's that all about? XYZ what? ABC what? Or here's 7 benefits. Or here's you'll get 300 visits a day if you do this. There's a benefit, 300 visits a day. Here's 7 ways to maximize your profits and 3 ways to increase your subscribers. People always like numbers, so those are a few rushed through because we have covered it as we've gone through.
Yeah, I think you can play on this. You can play on this the other way. You can say 7 mistakes you're making, or 7 things that's wrong with your blog, things like that as well. What does he mean? What's wrong? But yeah, benefits, numbers, scarcity, time's running out, last chance to grab this, more bonuses added, all of those sort of things. Again, just look at what's in your inbox right now, and you'll get lots and lots of ideas. Finally,
subject lines right at the start, because that's when you open the email, which you have the last.
Good point, Randy. It's too late now. Right, I just want to let you know, guys, this has been the longest webinar we've ever done, ever. In 6 years of doing this, and this is the longest one. So we normally never get quick. Yeah, but no, it's all good. At the end of the day, we want to make sure we're trying to give everything we can here. And I do apologise, because sometimes it gets a bit, when you go over a certain amount of time. Anyway. Final one, using a PS. I try and do this as much as I can. I don't always, but usually I'll reiterate something. For me, most of the time when I use a PS, I'll usually write about whatever it is I'm promoting, the benefits, etc. And sometimes in the PS, I might just start to say, make sure you check this out because it's closing in a few days. That's the way I tend to do it. I try to put my scarcity in the PS, or get them to take some sort of extra action. Don't forget to check out bonus number 4 or something like that, because it's going to apply. It's going to help you even more. Things like that. Just something where there's either a little bit of scarcity or a little bit more curiosity. Because most people don't read all of the content. They'll read the subject line, they'll read the first few paragraphs, they might scroll down, they might click a link, or they might just read to the final part. But most will read your PS. And that,
in a way, it's just like on the sales page. You're going to get your skimmers. They see the headline at the top, they scroll down at the bottom, see the price, and then they look at the PS for a quick recap. So in a lot of ways, your PS might be a quick recap of the main benefit of looking at that product, or the main bonus of looking at that product, or a reason. In a sense, it's like can you come up with a 10-word pitch for everything that you've just done above? Because then the skimmers have still got a 10-word pitch, and hopefully that 10-word pitch sells them the idea of clicking the link. So yeah, always have a PS with a very, very short one-line recap of everything you've discussed and a reason why they need to click a link.
Perfect. Right, guys, hopefully there's a lot of nuggets in this. I think, you know, at the end of the day,
no complaints, it's great, and PS, a cat's enjoying it as well.
that's a good, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
excellent info today, guys, thanks.
Brilliant, yeah, hopefully, I mean, just 1 or 2 nuggets, but there's a lot of nuggets in this one. That's why I let Randy sort of go with this today, and he did say before we started, how much time do you want? He could have went on about this all day, but I believe this is where Randy's, you know, one of his major strengths is when it comes to the marketing side.
It's probably the thing that I do the most, John, so yeah, I've got a lot of experience and what have you, tried a lot of things, failed at a lot of things, so, and it is something that, you know, obviously, I don't know which bits you can cut out or what have you, but this needs to go into the training right at the end so that after people have had their launch, they're not left high and dry, because far too many people we've seen have had a fantastic launch, they've made a few $1,000s, and they've got 300 or 400 people on an email list, and then they say, John, now what? And it's like, oh, what do you mean, now what? How long has it been? Well, my launch was a fortnight ago. Oh, no, you should have been emailing them from, like, day one of, like, they've bought something, so start emailing them. And, you know, rather than miss out on that potential to get straight in and build that relationship and start marketing to them, we'll put this into the training so that you know exactly what to do. As soon as you've got that email list, then, you know, hopefully you'll hit this training and you'll know exactly what to do, how to find your own voice, and how to crack on and keep that income coming. Because the list, and this is again where when we're talking about products and pricing and stuff, and people go, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I'm giving 100% commissions, you know, the email list will make you more money long term than your launch ever did. And I can say that hand on heart, even with the big launches I've had where we've done, you know, 200,000-300,000, even the biggest one, $500,000. Well, I've still got people on my list now from when we did that $500,000 launch 4 years ago. And, you know, if I'm averaging 250,000 a year from my email list, well, if I launch 4 years ago, and, you know, if I'm averaging